Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. This is part 14 of my Victrix Miniature series, and in this particular video we're taking another look at the Macedonian force which I'm currently building, and in particular we're looking at the Macedonian Hypaspists. Now the Hypaspists are very different from the regular phalanx that was in Alexander the Great's army. So you can see on the left there are the Hypaspists and on the right is the phalanx. Now I want to note a few differences before we get into the Hypaspists. But one of them is that the phalanx on the right there, they were armed with a pike type weapon called a sarissa, which is very, very long. And they also had a smaller shield, probably because, you know, the pike was quite unwieldy. And having a huge hoplite shield would just weigh them down and make it harder to strike with their spears, etc. Whereas the Hypaspists, they used the normal hoplite shield, and they also used a regular spear. So that's just a couple of differences there between them. Also, the Hypaspists had many different roles within the Macedonian army, but their main one was to protect the flank of the phalanx. You know, armed with a shorter spear made them easier to maneuver around compared to the phalanx. So that was their main role, really, to protect the flank, but they also had other duties. And they are an elite fighting unit, originally put together by Philip II as a royal guard or bodyguard to him. But were later deployed into what you see in front of you, basically. Later in the years of Alexander the Great, the more veteran soldiers of the Hypaspists became known as the Silver Shields, which they got that name because Alexander the Great basically gave them silver-plated shields and helmets and armor to recognise their contribution throughout the war. You know, they battled for 13 years. Well, Alexander the Great battled for 13 years non-stop throughout his military campaign, and the Silver Shields were renowned warrior veterans. And yeah, they carried on fighting for, I think, around 40 years in total. And some of them were like in their 60s or 70-year-olds still fighting, which is unbelievable at that time. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that bit, but I'm going to move closer into them now so you can actually see the unit. So this is like the kind of the command, I guess. So I've got a banner bearer here. Also got like the captain, I guess. Not quite happy with the captain. I might change his arm out, possibly. But one thing that is different about this unit compared to the phalanx is I've used different types of helmets here. You know, more ornate helmets to sort of show that they're a harder unit, if you like. Just more unique, and just look a bit more, I guess, just a bit better. So yeah, that's kind of like the command there. And then the other units, obviously, very similar. Now, it would be nice if Victrix did an update to the Macedonian army, or the Macedonian products, by attaching like some fighting units, because, I mean, these and the phalanx are very static. They're just standing there holding their spear. It would be nice to see them like actually fighting or marching. But yeah. And then obviously the third and final piece here. Again, just using different helmets. And what I'm going to do with these guys is I'm going to use these transfers on their shields and still possibly paint them up in this sort of scheme. However, I might, I'm still debating that. I might actually add a bit more colour, but we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think these will look quite good. I've also ordered another phalanx, but that would be much later down the line. Right, and moving on to my next unit, which I've been working on, is the Macedonian Cavalry, or Alexander's companions. So to start with, we have the command squad here. Now they're not all glued in place properly yet because I want to paint them, paint pieces separately, so like their capes and stuff like that, and I want to paint the horses separately. But this is kind of how they're going to look. So again, we have like a banner bearer there. This guy is kind of like a captain, and then you have the bugle player here. Yeah, I'm very pleased how these guys look. I think they look awesome. Really, really good. Yeah, I particularly like their armour on their chest. And the helmets are a bit different than you would see on the infantry. That's just to signify that they are cavalry. And also in the Alexander film, it's the same sort of style helmet that they use, so that's kind of cool because that's the look I'm going for. Right, and then, so I have 12 of these in total, all kind of similar, just, you know, but they look really cool, like they're charging forwards and attacking. I really like that. So yeah. But yeah, they haven't all got the same helmet. Some have got plumes, some haven't. It's just, yeah, just add a bit of variety. And then finally, what I've been working on is a Alexander the Great figure, which I've custom built using many different kits from Victrix Limited. I'm just going to move these guys out of the way so you can see a bit better. So yeah, I had this idea in my head. There's an image in the Alexander film of Alexander attacking on horse, which is reared up like this, and he's attacking an elephant. So I tried to kind of copy that, but not completely. But I'm very pleased how it's turned out. So I'm going to try and name most of the pieces that I've used here, which may be difficult, but anyway. The horse is from the Roman commander kit. I think you get 3 horses in that, but this one was the only one that was reared up. And yeah, I thought that'd be perfect for what I was going for. Also, the legs here, they are from the same kit as well, so from the Roman kit. The chest, I cut off a hoplite from the Greek hoplite set. And I still need to add some green stuff to fill those gaps that you can see just underneath. The arms are from the Macedonian Cavalry over there. The sword is from, I forget where that's from, but I did mention it in one of my previous videos. Sorry, I can't remember exactly. The cape was just a standard cape from, I think that was from the Roman set as well, actually. Not too sure. And the helmet was from the Roman set. The reason I added that helmet was because it's the most detailed helmet that I could find that kind of matches the one in the film, or as close as I could get to it without, you know, doing some really heavy sculpting work, which I'm not very good at. The little plume you see on the top here is from a Samnite set, I believe they're called. Samnite warriors. And then you have the 2 feathers, which I've attached. Sorry about the focus here, it's not very good, is it? Yeah, sorry, that's the best I can do at the moment. But anyway, I attached it using a little bit of plastic, some cylinder-shaped bit of plastic. And yeah, very happy how it's come out. Like I said, there's still a bit of work to do here. One thing I am thinking of doing is sanding down all these harnesses and adding like a leopard pelt to the horse. So similar to, let's have a look here, kind of similar to this horse. You can see they've got like a pelt attached to it. Yeah, so I'm debating whether to do that. But yeah, looking forward to getting him done. I put him on a bigger base as well to signify that he is like, you know, the main man in charge of the army. So yeah, that's that. And finally, I'd like to do an unboxing, like I mentioned, which is the African war elephants. So it is a bit debated. Sorry, it is a bit debated whether Alexander actually used war elephants in his army. They were used in the successor armies that followed after the death of Alexander, but I've read like conflicting things saying that he either did implement the elephants in his army or he didn't. So I'm not too sure, but for my particular army, I want to implement them because I do think they are cool. And will just adds another dynamic to my army. This army isn't really for playing battles, it's more for display purposes. So that's the reason for that. So as you can see here, you can build them in a variety of ways from different like armies and eras, which is good. And you get 16 actual models in the kit. On the back you have the instructions. So if you want to build, like for instance, the Numidian crew, you just use these pieces, or the Roman crew, just use those pieces, etc. So let's actually have a look at the sprues now. So you get 4 sprues in total. Let's have a look at these 2 first. So these 2 sprues, they are exactly the same, but you can see you've got a variety of bodies here. So like they are the Numidian ones. These are the ones that I will be using because they are the ones that closely resemble the Macedonians. And you've also got like some Roman ones here. This guy here is obviously the one that sits on the elephant and directs it. And then you've got a good variety of helmets. So it's nicely laid out here. You've got like the Numidian helmets here, Carthaginians. You've got a couple of javelins there. You've got the Sarissa pike, which I'll be using. Some other helmets here. Obviously these are the ones that I will be using. Some more javelin arms. And some Numidian helmets there. And I think they're like Roman helmets possibly. And also I guess they might be used by the guy who's riding the elephant. But yeah, that's quite good. Nice variety there. And then finally into the actual elephant sprue. It's a bit hard to show on camera, but okay, so what we got here, we got some pouches of like javelins here. That's good. These are parts of the elephant, and then this is like the tower that actually sits on top of the elephant, where the soldiers will be standing in and attacking from. So you've got 1, 2, 3 pieces of elephants, and there's 2 on the sprue here. So that means you could have 2 different varieties, I believe, 2 or 3. I'm not too sure on that actually. Guess I'll see when I'm building it. Right, and we've also got some shields here, and some Roman or Carthaginian shields here. Yeah, so very nice kit. I'm looking forward to building that. I'm possibly thinking of adding like maybe some archers in the tower as well. We'll have to wait and see. I've also ordered some transfers as well that will go with the elephants, and and the towers, just to add a bit more detail to the model. I'm going to have to see what type of base I'm going to put these guys on as well, because obviously these are a lot larger than all the infantry and cavalry, so I have to see on that. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. One thing to note, I will be, I believe, adding some silver shields into my army at some point, and I'm possibly thinking of using these transfers for that purpose. I think that might go quite well. However, these are only in one size, and unfortunately the size that they're in is of the phalanx, which are obviously the smaller shields, so I'm still debating that as well. Yeah, we'll have to just wait and see on that. And another thing to note lastly is I've got this transfer sheet here as well, and I will be adding this red one here to probably the cavalry. Yeah, I think it might look quite good there, and maybe another one for the Hypaspists. Yeah, so I think that's everything to talk about in this episode. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm glad I've found my enthusiasm and motivation to get back into building and painting. I just got to try and keep the momentum going and crack on. Unfortunately, at the moment, I live in the UK and the weather's not great for painting, especially spray painting, and obviously I do have quite a lot to spray paint at the moment. So I'm just waiting for a clear day to get out there and get these guys primed and ready. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.